Good morning and welcome back from that short break. And definitely, Siobhan Alma and Sarah Apollo were letting you know on what is happening at the Anglican Shrine in Namgongo ahead of the 3rd of June celebrations in regard to the Uganda matters. My name is Agi Oase and welcome to our views. And this is a segment where we talk about real life conversations. And today we are deep diving into the conversation in regard to settling for less. This is probably a conversation that you have had, multiple people talking about. It could be your friends, it could be your family. People are talking about, I think I'm settling for less in this relationship. I think I'm settling for less in this workspace. I think I'm settling for less in this friendship. But just to give you an insight on what settling for less means, this means settling for a life of more limitations than advancement. And it also regards or refers to settling for less than what you think as a person you deserve. It could be in regard to your relationship. Maybe you feel your partner is not giving you enough attention or is not doing as much as you think they should be doing. It could be in the workspace. Back in the day, I actually listened to a story of a certain gentleman who talked about, I have been at university for the last 5 years studying medicine and pharmacy. And here I am after school, I look for a job and they're offering me 500,000 Uganda shillings. And he talked about that is very bad. And for me, I feel like that is less. And he was contemplating whether to take on the job or not. But remember, in this Uganda at the moment, jobs are actually very scarce. Barely will you'll actually find people who are ready to settle for probably a job that pays them 300,000 Uganda shillings because they just want to be in the workspace. So that also refers to settling for less. But also research and statistics have shown that multiple people who settle for less usually have a lack of self-worth and self-confidence. Now that is contradictory to what settling for less is about, because if we are talking about you feel you deserve something and they are not giving it to you, it means that when you decide to just settle for that one thing, then you have you don't believe in yourself or you're not very confident about yourself. But the ladies definitely will be telling me or letting us know in their opinion in regard to settling for less. And as usual, at the moment, I'm joined by Siobhan Alma to my far right, and seated right next to me is Priva Elibers to deliberate on this matter. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Aggie. How are you feeling?
Good morning, Priva Elibers.
Okay, I feel like today Siobhan is in very high spirits today.
Unique name.
I'm telling you.
You see, children of those days, I feel are given names like. Anyway, let's move on. Let me not
okay, there's Aggie and then there's Elibers. I mean, Aggie's a very relatable name. You've heard of it so many times. Where does Elibers come from?
I'm going to first ask my parents, then we'll get back to
Oh
that.
my goodness.
After we're done deliberating on this.
Anyway, in the words of Nelson Mandela, he talked about there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. And he also went on to say that you cannot live a small life and a full life. You cannot live a small life and a full life when you settle for less. So ladies, to start with, I'd like to know from you, what is your take on settling for less?
Interesting. Personally, I think settling for less rhymes with fear of rejection or fear of failure. I remember back in the day, like maybe 3 years ago, at the time in my career, I was not comfortable where I was. I was not feeling like I deserved to be where I was. And I remember actually walking to one of the media houses, and I made an appointment right there and then. I entered, I got to the receptionist and I said, you know what, I'm here to see Mr. So-and-so. And she asked, do you have an appointment? Does he know you're supposed to be coming in today? And I said, no, but trust me, I'm not even going to waste 5 minutes of his time. I only need like 2. And at that moment, I realized, you know what, I have big dreams. There are things that I want to achieve in my life. If I'm going to remain in this mediocrity, if I'm going to get comfortable with my situation, there's a likelihood that I'm going to live an unfulfilling life. So for me, when it comes to settling for less, I feel like it comes more so from the bit of, having that fear of rejection or thinking that you're not good enough. Yeah.
Siobhan?
In my perspective, I would say settling for less, especially people who feel like they're supposed to settle for what we term as less, comes back even from upbringing or your childhood. If in your childhood your parents told you you will not amount to anything, yeah, why did we even give birth to you? Or if you feel that you are created for disaster, then you'll definitely feel like you're supposed to settle for less. There are people who are battling illnesses, let's say mental health, or even not just mental health, but a disease, and you feel like, you know what, I already have this, I might as well settle for this person. There are people even who feel that they're not beautiful enough for the ladies. There are women who feel they're not so beautiful enough that they settle for men who they do not deserve to be with. There are people who have not gone to school, and they feel because they have not acquired the right education, they do not deserve a certain job or type of environment, which I think is very fair. But the thing about settling for less starts in the mind. What goes in? If trash keeps entering your mind, it is trash that you're going to have it. Yes, like if you wake up in the morning and you say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? This day is going to be bad. That alone, the tongue has spoken, the mind has put it, and it will come into action just like that. But also the people around us actually determine whether or not we want to settle for less. If you're surrounded by family, friends, and workmates who are always constantly speaking negative upon you, or who say, you did this, and they are shocked at what you have done, then you feel like you need to settle for less because you do not deserve better. And I think that is a wrong mindset, but it starts from the mind, upbringing, and the people that we surround ourselves with.
Yeah. But don't you think that you can change your mindset? I mean, well, growing up, I mean, people can make multiple comments. Even when you're already grown, people will always have things to say. But don't you think as an individual, you should take it upon yourself to know your self-worth, to know what you deserve, and, you know, go for it, irrespective of what anyone else says. Let's say at earlier you talked about, you know, finding a job or something like that, and you feel someone is telling you, no, you cannot do this, you don't deserve this. Don't you think you should take it upon yourself as an individual to say, you know what, this is what I want, I'll put my mind to it, and I will achieve it, irrespective of what anyone else has to say about it?
I'll respond like this. I think that particular statement comes from a point of privilege. Let me put it this way. How many youth or how many people come from rural areas and they're able to make it in life? There are circumstances that they live in that do not even allow them to showcase their full potential or talent. So take a look at a girl or a boy or a lady or a man that has grown up in rural areas, that has grown up in nothing but abject poverty. What kind of mindset do you think they're going to have? Even if I walked up to them and told them, hey, guess what? You can be anything you want to be. Person, how can I be anything that I want to be yet I don't even have supper for today? How? Like, make it make sense.
That is knowing that
fuel you more, exactly. You know? It should fuel you more.
No, but you see, for some people, it's not a fuel. For some people, it's actually a thing to say, you know what? Let me settle for this. This was meant to be my life. I was not meant to go to school, and this is it. And the thing about the mind is that it's a process. You need to constantly talk to your mind. These things are easier said than done by us who have been able to, you know, have been given the opportunity to fairly compete, equitable access, you know, we're able to air out our opinions. We have gone to good enough schools, we have good enough friends and family, but there are people out there who do not have the privilege of going through that. There are people out there who have grown up with completely nothing. So for you to tell them that one day you'll be the president of Uganda or you'll be an important person, they look at you, even if they want to believe, they say, but look at my mom, she was nothing but a housewife. Look at my father, he was nothing but a farmer. I have not been to school. How can I be that person? It takes a lot of courage for someone like that to think that their mindset can actually change.
Maybe it just requires a decision that you just need to make as, you know, as a person. Because I feel like the people who actually inspire us the most, if you're to look around maybe in your close circle of friends or anything like that, you find like they don't come from privilege. You understand that they're less privileged, they don't have that much money, that, you know, they have experienced life, they have traveled, they have done this and that, and they are deserving of, you know, the best. No, they have been in terrible situations, but I feel like as an individual, it's up to you to say, you know what, if my dad is stuck in this, if I grew up in this type of environment, why should I stay in the same environment? You understand? Like, it should be able to push you to be better. You must want better for yourself. And that's a decision that you have to take. Has nothing to do with where you come from, has nothing to do with the people you're surrounding with. At the end of the day, you're an individual who's going to think for yourself.
In regard to this, I'm going to ask you a question, but a little bit later. But I'd like to ask you, Priva. You talked about earlier, looking for jobs, and jobs are very scarce in Uganda. You literally have to fight. You put your applications out there. There's a situation they told us about. They told us that there's a certain workspace where you bring in your applications, then they choose randomly and they throw some in the trash. I don't know if you've heard of that example. And then they talk about, we do not want someone with bad luck, meaning that those that they randomly picked and put in the trash are people who have bad luck. So that could be a situation that happens in so many other places. But I would like to ask you, having graduated from university, you have this career that you're looking at ahead of you, and it so happens that you walk into a workspace and they're offering you very little money than you think you deserve, depending on the years you have spent at university and how much work you have put in. Would you be able to take on this job, or you would say, you know what, let me sit back and wait until I can get something that I deserve?
You see, the workspace in Uganda is very manipulative in a way. You get to workspaces and somehow the management or the people there are showing you that you're not worth what you're asking for, or you're not worth anything that you deserve. You understand?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I feel like I would not take on a job that is going to give me less than I actually deserve. I know they'll throw around, you should have experience, you should, be able to spend some time working and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's you must be able to give someone a chance. You understand? It has nothing to do with, are they settling, or is it money or anything like that? If someone comes, they've gone to school, they've studied their degree, you spent 4 years at law school, went to LDC for another, growing 1 year, someone should be able to put some respect, on your academic qualifications.
Yes.
Regardless of,
Shivana, I want you to weigh in on this,
Wait.
but yeah.
The best, before you ask your question,
Yeah.
because you had said you have a question.
Yeah,
to me.
I do.
The best person who will appreciate you for your qualifications and how much effort you have put in, most likely is either you or your parents. The workspace, and this one I'll bring it especially to Uganda because this is where we are. Compared to other countries, it's actually a bit diverse. But in Uganda, you will find that most of the people on these streets are actually first-class degree holders.
Absolutely.
The people who got principal passes and gentleman's passes are the ones seated in SC offices. It is the truth of the matter. Let's do a random. These are the things that happen, and I'm not saying this from a point of it's something that happened to me or stuff, but this is the reality, and I'm sure that the person watching would definitely agree. But to answer the question and to relate to what Priva said, if I walked into a place and you are giving me lower than I deserve, and in a way
Then
it is
you
settling,
think you deserve.
than I think I deserve.
Yes.
It's not even I think. I know I deserve that money because I have worked and toiled. 25 years down the road, I graduated from Uganda Christian University, and I know I am worth it.
Yes.
So, if you're going to bring a paycheck and it does not attribute to my talent, this is what I'm going to do. Depending, if I do not have a job and that is my first job, a bird in the hand is better than a bird on the tree. I don't know if that is how they say it, but a bird in the hand is better than a bird in the tree. I will take the offer. I will probably work for you for 2 months and give you a test of my medicine, and then I'll walk out.
A test of your medicine.
Then I will see. You see, you cannot. Things on paper cannot be explained. But if you're hired into an organization, even where they're paying you less, and you start to showcase your talent, chances are high that they will appreciate you and even add more on you, rather than you actually walking out of an opportunity. Because what are the chances that you'll get another place that will give you more? But again, me, I would do that and then leave you to be the judge. Do you think I deserve this pay?
Besides that, yes.
I don't want our hunger for, success and being able to get into the good jobs blind the actual reality of, what people experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming to work, you're spending your time, you're investing in this workplace. You deserve some sort of, remuneration.
Yes, true.
You understand? So I get you need an opportunity, but
that is the reality. I mean, that is the idea. But it's not the reality. The truth of the matter is, many times, even after you've studying, even when you've got a PhD, it's not enough. Very many people are very good at getting A+, but this is on paper. When they tell you to operate a camera and talk about exposure and white balance, you're looking angas. But in journalism, it showed you got an A+.
Besides that, for me, I think that you can actually capitalize on that opportunity, because being at home and not doing nothing at all, and being somewhere and doing something for something little, it's actually better, because first of all, you gain experience. experience. And maybe as you walk into other workspaces, most workspaces right now ask for experience. So if you've been working somewhere, maybe training somewhere, and you have this,
paid
no, I'm not saying
about paid.
Why are you walking into a
internship.
workplace?
I'm
Why
not-
don't you come up with your own idea of an organization? How about you be a job creator than a job seeker?
that is ideal. Let me use your
the
words.
reality?
That is ideal.
Yes, it
but
is
it's
ideal,
not
but
the
how many?
reality.
You see, the problem is we have
Starting
gotten,
an organization
we have,
is difficult,
we
especially
all-
when you don't have
all
capital.
the great men here started from somewhere. Look at something that you're passionate about. You see, our mindsets have been tuned to all these white collar jobs. We forget that actually some of these jobs that are not white collar jobs could be the beginning of.
I'll give you my example why I say that. I remember back in the day, there's a certain friend of mine who told me, you see, Uwase, even when you want to start up a business, you need capital. Do you have, maybe let's say your parents are not wealthy enough to give you that capital to
Yeah.
start
For a
up a
startup,
business?
yeah.
It definitely will be a job that you are doing that will give you the capital. So whether they're giving you little money, I mean, it's not what it should be, but that can help you, amass some kind of money that you need, the amount of money that you need to start up something. But if you wait on when you will get the money, when will that be?
Ladies.
And besides that, I'd like to let you know of some of the ways how you can actually know that you are settling for less. One of them is you keep saying after. Now you delay going after your dream until after this happens or after that happens because you are afraid you are going to fail. You believe that if you don't start, you cannot fail. And that's a great way to avoid failure, definitely. You have to start. Because if you fear failure, I mean, how will you know you will fail if you don't start in the first place?
Yeah.
The other one is you blame other people. People do mean harmful and illegal stuff all the time, but that's not the reason you haven't achieved what you want. Every successful person got that kicked in their face at some point. Are you the kind of person who is going to give up because they've spoken to you in a certain way, could be at the workspace or anywhere, or you're just going to keep your mind focused on the goal at hand and make sure you achieve it? The other one is you don't think you can. Nobody who did anything ever said it was easy. It's always hard and always worth it. Don't mistake hard for impossible. When you catch yourself saying, I cannot do this, punch yourself in the face and ask yourself if you actually cannot do it, or are just saying that because it's hard, or you think that it's hard. And finally, you think a lot but do little. And this happens to multiple of us.
yeah.
We're always talking about, I want to start this business today, I want to do this today, but you are not doing anything. You're just talking and not walking the talk. And this is where you think a lot about what you want to achieve, but you take little or no action. You dream about it, but you do not do it. If you consistently think about something, you really need to do it. It's stuck in your head for a reason. Nobody on their deathbed ever said, I'm really glad I thought about that thing my whole life but never did it. You don't want to be that person who sits back, or you're on your deathbed and you're saying, I wish I had done that. So it starts with you when it comes to not settling for less. So Shivan, back to you. My question.
I wonder why you've kept this question.
It's your birthday, so I will ask you this question. Have you found yourself in a situation before where they told you cannot do this? You're passionate about something, and maybe some people said, no,
Yeah,
Shivan, you cannot
of
do
course.
this. How did you go about it?
I listened, I heard, and I threw in the trash.
Was it that
One
easy?
ear out
Like,
the other.
listen, one.
Actually, yes. The thing about me is that, I mean, I don't mean to brag, but my parents have raised me. I have my insecurities that I deal with a person. Because I will not lie on air and say, everything comes easy, or when someone throws shade at me, I'm kawa about it. I also get hurt. I'm a human being. I have emotions.
Feelings,
I
real
also have
feelings.
insecurities that I deal with. However, every single day of my life, I have told myself that I am going to go places. So even when you come to me and tell me, Shivan, you cannot do this, I'll be like, really? I would understand, where is Age coming from? Why is she saying this? Do I need to improve in a certain area? If I ask someone else and the basis is not true, I move on. Because in life, there will be those who will tell you negative things, but those negative things will actually be to push you. I just wish people would be able to change negative comments and negative energy into positive push. You see, like what you mentioned, like, if you grew up in a rural area, as long as you have the drive and the will. In life, you are the pilot of your life.
Yeah.
You just know you are the driver of your ship. The choices that you make in life will define who you are. So if you choose to be there and be like, oh, this one said, I have toothpick legs, I can never be this. Oh, I am very heavy, I can never be an air hostess. that is on you.
That's on you.
That is definitely, you will not blame anyone because Shivan said this, that means I have held back. No. So many people have been rejected. The public can reject you, but at the end of the day, what do you want? I am not saying I don't have times where I fall back and say, but really. But again, I rise up and say, but yes, I am going to do it.
Actually, to add on to what Shivan is saying, on top of the affirmations and, having the sense of, self-worth and, the self-confidence, I feel like as an individual, you should be able to know that the world has so much to offer. Where you are is not the best place that you should be. You need to strive more every
The key
single
word
day.
is the world, not just Uganda.
Not just the world, yes. Like, you have, live your dreams, dream big, and work on your dreams. Like Aggie talked about the execution bit. You should be able to execute what you actually feel. Don't let anyone tell you, like, you know what, this is maybe the best that you will, you will go, or this is the best that you will get. There is always better in life, always and all the time.
And there is always something for everyone. There is so much untapped potential, but we want to tap into the potential that has already been tapped into.
Okay.
You see, there is already Uber. You also want to bring Uber. You see, there is already someone making.
But there is enough. Yes,
there is. Let me tell you, there is always something for everyone. You just have to come up with a different concept. The problem is we don't want to think.
Or a different approach, because it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter whether someone else has a boutique. You can also have a boutique
With
but
something
with a whole
different.
different
What
approach.
makes yours
vibe that makes yours
exactly.
tick.
What makes
Unique.
yours different? I'll give an example. There is a lady where I stay. She sells street food. Now, someone would wonder, how can you be on TV and you say you eat street food? Yes. Once in a while, when you do not want to order for
street
food.
chicken tastes better.
Absolutely. So this particular lady, and the reason why I keep going to her is because not only does she give you like fries and, maybe chicken or sausages, she gives you cabbage, she puts avocado, she puts kachumbali, she gives you aromat. Kwa gamba, you see someone who is doing such a small business but putting in the effort. Then there are those salon ladies.
Is coming through, yeah.
They do what they do with so much passion. You find people, these women who clean houses, they clean and you're like, my God, I would never have cleaned like the way this lady did. Like, they do this thing with so much passion. There's just, everyone is doing it, but for them, they do it so differently. So every single time in the evening, I know my dinner is sorted because I'm going to get avocado, I'm going to get cabbage.
You heard that. Well, let's talk about maybe just to zero it down to our personal experiences where you have felt maybe you settled for less at some point. It could be in the workspace. It could be in a relationship. Maybe you felt your partner wasn't treating you as great. Whichever experience you have, how did you go about it? Did you, let's say in the workspace, did you walk up to your boss and say, you know what, I think I deserve a pay rise? Because, no, that is probably how you bring it up. Because of this and this and this, I think that's what you can say. You can say, I want. At the end of the day, because you're not entitled. And also in a relationship, did you tell your partner, you know what, I need you to do this, you need to change something about this? How did you go about it?
I'm actually going to talk about two life experiences. The first being career. Like I told you, I was in a workplace, I was not happy, it was not adding up, I was not progressing, and I said, you know what, it's time to move on. Regardless of how I felt in the moment. Of course, I was scared as hell. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? If I leave this job, I'm probably going to be jobless. But then there's that inner voice in your head that keeps telling you, no, you deserve better. You deserve to be somewhere else. So I just, of course, I resigned and I had to move to where I actually wanted to go. I know people, of course, were surprised, like, okay, how does she think she's supposed to be in this particular media house doing an interview or something like that? But I felt I deserved to be there. And I walked up to them, talked to the people that I always just, used to see, like in public, whatever, like publish whatever newspapers and all those things, talk to them, told them how I felt, and I was happy at the end of the day because I knew I don't have any regrets. I knew for a fact if I did not go there, I would still be thinking, what if I went? What if I actually, went up and talked to these people? What would have happened? What if? So I had to eliminate that. So for me, if it's not working for me, I just have to put a stop to it right there and then.
Do you always have an alternative at hand, or you just wake up and you're like, I'm taking this risk?
As an individual, you should have alternatives. Always, because you never know what could happen. You could wake up and the organization or the company you're working for closes.
So even in a relationship, you should have alternatives.
Exactly. Talk about that.
So in other backwards. When you're dating, you should have plan B.
If he's not treating you right, you should be looking on the other side.
That's not a good way to live.
Definitely.
When it comes to relationships, of course, no one is perfect. We all understand that. We've all been in relationships. You have to compromise, but how far are you going to actually compromise your own values, your morals, your beliefs and principles? You understand? I was once in a relationship that was not working out, and I tried so hard to make it work. And asked myself, you girl, what exactly are you doing to yourself? You know,
Yes,
I was like, what exactly are you doing to yourself?
There's something I want to point out. There are two things: settling for less and thinking that you deserve better, yet you actually don't. That is it's the bitter truth. Some of us think we deserve better, yet you actually do not deserve better because you're not adding any value. You will walk into a company. 6 months the way you found it is 6 months the way it still is. So what value have you added? Then you start saying, I deserve better. My friend, sit down. What change have you made? Like, what proof do you have that you have built this, you have done this, you have built this concept? If you don't have, sit down. Then when you go to this aspect of not settling for less, yet actually you deserve that less in terms of a relationship. If you're selling yourself short, you know, you're doing wife duties at girlfriend price. You're already selling yourself short, so you cannot come out and say, I deserve better, I do not want to settle for less. My friend, sit down. You have chosen to be a wife, yet you're a girlfriend. Those are just it's the bitter truth, but it's
sometimes we put ourselves in those positions.
We sell ourselves short to people. We compromise a lot, and then we come out and say, I deserve better, I deserve better. They are sexually harassing you, and then you're massaging it, and like you're being harassed at work, and you're keeping quiet, and then you come out and say, I deserve better. But you've allowed the man to continuously tap you all the time. So what are you complaining about?
There is this notion, you talked about in regard to relationships about, selling yourself short and doing wifely duties when you're just a girlfriend. Some women have talked about, okay, I think it's because of this whole notion of, I don't know, wife material. You have to go home over the weekend, wash
those jeans.
Okay, my question would be, don't you think that maybe these women think that if I do this man will see my value? If I do this, they will see what they want in a wife.
A man that loves you will not wait to sleep with you or to see how your food tastes or all these things. They will marry you, and that is the end of the story.
Ideal.
That's the reality.
That is the ideal. But you can't go ahead and make it your reality. Set your rules and say, what am I going to be doing over the weekend at my man's place, washing clothes and washing dishes? I am a girlfriend. I did not sign up to be his person moving around his house. But however, there are people who do it out of the goodwill of their heart. However, the people on the receiving side are now the issue, because then they will get comfortable. They will get used to it. So you end up settling for less. So sometimes it's not the women's fault. Sometimes it is the men's fault. But other times, mostly, it is. For you pack your bag. I remember in university, we used to pack our bags the moment you teach us Friday. Where are you going?
Were you one of the people that did that?
I'm going to this place.
You sold your shop.
I am one of the people, but my friend, when I woke up, I just, please, trash to the trash, expensive things.
Okay.
To this side.
Let's talk about some of the downsides of settling for less. One of them is you won't experience life. Now, fear of failure keeps us from going after our dream jobs and our dream relationships. It makes us avoid heartbreak by staying in unhealthy relationships. It prevents us from getting out of our comfort zones. It keeps us from experiencing all that life that has to offer. Every emotion, including disappointment and joyful moments as well. And I think we have sometimes fear grapples us a lot, and you're afraid of getting heartbroken, and you end up not living your life to the fullest. I remember, I don't know whether it's Siobhan, but there's someone who talked about you cannot fail to live your life to the fullest, especially when it comes to relationships. Like, express how much you love this person because you're afraid of getting hurt. And the other one is you'll have regrets. When you look back on your life, you won't be glad you settled for less. Right now, you'd probably tell your younger self, don't settle for less in a relationship. Don't settle for less at the job that you love. Don't wait until you're old and gray to never settle for less. Start now. But where does the drive to never settle for less come from? It definitely comes from you as an individual. And the other one is you'll never feel fulfilled ever. When you play it safe, you meet your need for certainty, but you won't create the connections your heart and soul needs. You won't find significance. You won't fulfill your need for personal growth, and ultimately you won't feel fulfilled ever in life. So ladies, finally, I'd like to ask you, do you think that actually settling for less is overrated? Earlier you talked about that you might think you deserve more, but yet you are not actually giving what, you know, in line with what you deserve. Maybe it could be at work.
That's true, and this is something that I had thought that we had forgotten, but it's good you brought it up. It's very important that even as we're talking about the aspect of settling for less, we'll need to leave the attitude of every single time an opportunity comes, I deserve better. Kagamba, for you keep saying, I deserve better. When will better come? You get that kind, you get these people who have a mindset of they continuously deserve better. Like even when a good opportunity has come, they will say, I deserve better. I deserve better. All the time, I deserve better. You cannot make people appreciate you. Only you can teach people how to appreciate you. So it's very important that people that are watching this morning do not continuously go with the mindset of I deserve better, because that is how good opportunities will pass you by, because you have told yourself I deserve better. You let's say you're done with campus, you're going to do masters, yes, and they have given you a scholarship here to study. Let's say whichever university, IU, whatever it is, and you're going to study, and you say, I deserve better. Me, I'm supposed to do my masters from outside country. But the whole thing is that you are studying. I'm just giving an example. I'm not advertising for IU, but let's move on here.
Honestly, I think as an individual, if your mind has conceived the idea that, you know, I deserve to be in a different place, I deserve to be at a different level in life, that's the only pushing, you know, factor that you need to actually move ahead in your life. Yeah. There's saying, yeah, maybe you say you deserve better and you're not actually matching up to the better that you think you deserve. Yeah. So that's why I think as an individual, you need to continuously work on yourself. I mean, as people, we are always learning every now and then. We're always evolving. We're always, you know, trying to better ourselves at the end of the day. I don't think anyone wakes up and they're like, I got this job at this company. I'm really going to be here for the next 10 years or the next 30 years or the next 40 years. You need to evolve. If you're still in the same company, at least if you came in as let me say an office messenger, maybe by the time you leave, you've learned a thing or two in other departments, like you're bettering yourself. That's how
don't get comfortable.
Yes, that's how you know that you actually deserve better as a person. But at the end of the day, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. Push yourself for better.
But even as you're working towards the aspect of you deserve better, make yourself someone who add value to yourself. Like, what valuable skill have you added onto yourself? It might not even be a skill. How do you present yourself? Yes. When you walk into an office, do you bring a demeanor of, I would like to hire that lady, of, what has she come to do? Add value to yourself.
Oh my goodness. Well, these are some of the ways that you can actually live your life to the fullest without having to settle for less. And one of them is own your life. Stop blaming your life on your current partner, your boss, or your family. Your life is what you make it. Do you really want to spend it making excuses? Don't take the easy way out and escape to the past or the future. Now, Tony Robbins explains that if your present is painful, you can escape to the past and get out of the pressure of change, or you can escape to the future because no one knows what it is for sure. And I think that's the better option. And the other one is unleash your drive. Tony also goes on to say that there is a powerful driving force inside every human being that once unleashed can make any vision, any dream or desire a reality. Now, every successful person has this drive to do more, to be more, to give more, and to create more as well. And it's not just a hunger for material things or appearances, it's a hunger to serve something greater than yourself. And finally, nourish your body and your mind as well. The next step is to identify your limiting beliefs. These are your beliefs about who you are and why you have the life you do. Yes. How often do you tell yourself things like, I have always been shy, I'm just great at public speaking? That means you have to believe in yourself, nourish your mind and body. Stop having all these negative notions in your mind about yourself, because it does definitely start with you. But anyway, that is what we had for you on our views today. Remember, you can connect with us on our social media platforms, that is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, as well at CTV Uganda, and let us know what you think about settling for less. But before we actually close off this segment, today is a special day. Siobhan was opening the show today and she talked about this is the day a queen was born, and I also added on something that now I understand why Siobhan is Siobhan. It's Gemini season and Geminis are Geminiing. Have you heard of that? Well, happy birthday to Siobhan, and that is Our Lady at Sunrise at Sea. We are very happy that you were born. You add so much value to Sunrise at Sea as well as CTV. We are happy for you. Please don't cry.
May this be your best year
I'm very
yet.
happy. It has been a journey of ups and downs, but
Yeah.
hey, 25 and here we are.
Proud of you. Proud
Doing
of
great.
you. Proud of you.
Moving forward. Well, that is what we had for you on this segment, but keep watching Sunrise at Sea and don't blink.
Well, that wraps up what we had for you this morning on Sunrise at Sea. And a happy birthday to me, 25. Well, it has been a long journey and I am glad that I have been able to make it this far. Of course, special thanks to CTV and specifically Sunrise at Sea family for all the love I truly appreciate. Otherwise, from the ladies and I, and of course the team behind the scenes, we wish you a lovely, lovely 1st June as this month begins. I hope that every single thing that had died in your life will be able to resurrect with a new month. Otherwise, see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Don't blink.